Chop.
I always do.
Yeah. Should I not record it? That was rough.
I didn't know what to say. The what? What is he? If I have him. What? You have him? Yeah. How are you? How are you? I guess we're that's going to be everything. It's always something, right? This time of year it's always
You know, but it's not you, it's me. But it's not me. Oh my God.
So funny, he asked me about it. And I text my friend, and anyone was talking about 6, and then he texted never mind, can't complain.
She stole the golf.
That's a common name.
Yeah, but I think it's more than what it is.
What do I say? Sit here 2 hours.
Okay. Right, people, yeah. I think it's good. Oh my God.
I mean, like, are you going to take the lead on
I mean, they're working on school and my sister knows and her boys that are here. But my middle school is different. I said, you know, I'll sign it.
I think that's the only thing I have like the world that
All three of them, my boys are 1964.
I think she was saying busy, just busy. You get the vote?
I'm used to it, you know?
Always get the life day. I saw yours.
She's still scared of you.
Getting tired. Yeah, it's fine. Just trying to script yourself. try to make as many quote event situations
You know what?
as I
Put my
can.
cup there and all that. On that windshield, on that,
Because I have to do some planning and zoning enforcement. Now these people just like testify, based upon so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, I never. Friday nights, Thursday nights, I have.
We're very different.
Saturday, Sunday,
I'm gonna vote on whether I should come hard.
so, it's crazy.
I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, Marie Terrell? Is that Jill Terrell? Is it Marie Terrell? It's a combination. Is it? That's one. Terrell? No, she's Terrell.
She was Terrell, then she spelled it with an E, I think.
T-E-R?
Yeah, it was T-E, she's done T-E.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Changing? Then you're a lot smaller than I am now, so.
Steve?
Not at all. There you go.
How are you? I haven't seen you since you broke through my door.
Oh, yeah,
That was great. That was.
It was good. I like it. Was good ending.
No, she's been like my
Good ending. This is Marco.
What's your last name? Oh, I know Eric. Yeah. When I looked at you, I think I knew you were Eric's brother. And I know there's three of you. That was great because it was your spot. Your timing was coming. Everyone's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And
Yeah.
that was great. Are you a junior or senior?
Junior.
You're not at the dive now?
I'm supposed to have to film this.
You've got a parent there at least?
Yeah, yeah. And all their areas up here and all that. All of there's a Jeep, all of their areas.
Good seeing you.
He was well.
I had to do
She's already I'm obviously gonna come here recreationally. Like the time I would get my physical the lunch prices. But did you want it? Oh, the big guns. Oh no. He wants it. He wants it. He is here.
Good evening, everyone. Pursuant to the bylaws and school laws of the state of New Jersey. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Wrong reading there. Pursuant to New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home District News, the Asbury Park Press, Board Office, Schools, and on Cable Vision Channel 118, Verizon Files Channel 24, by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. This meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. The board will take formal action on payment of bills and other agenda items. Mr. Malley.
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of the state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that after recording is not responsibility for such private reporting and completely disavows any future use.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Roll call, please.
Andriani,
Present.
Callie, Dunn,
Here.
Dinoff, Alice Foster,
Here.
Reed, Singh, Weber, Prima,
Yeah.
quorum exists.
Your rise for the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Now. Okay. Moment of silence. Hopefully we don't have one. Okay. Much for that. Okay. Board minutes. Report of students representatives of the board. I hope you're here. Recognition. Do you want to just go over that real quick?
There are two parts of the recognition. Obviously, one is the major part will have the Teacher of the Year and Support Staff of the Year recognition. And then I'm going to ask a business member from the community who has supported the public schools and made some significant donations to just come up and thank them publicly.
Mrs. Cowie, you'll be on the other end of that.
We're good. It's at 7:30, right?
That is correct. In the auditorium.
Yeah, next week's meeting is in the auditorium, Teachers of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Door 5.
Yep, I got it.
I'm sure you'll have a superintendent's report.
No? I usually don't do one during that meeting
Okay.
because there's so much done in that. We'll take care of that tonight. All right, so this is going to be a combination superintendent's report and committee report from strategic planning. Again, I have here with us today Ms. Joanne Barad, who's been integral in leading us through the strategic planning process. And what you have before you on the screen tonight, she's going to walk us through is the strategic planning outcome from all of our small group meetings, large group meetings. And Ms. Barad, if you want to walk us through it and then give the accolades what accolades are due as we discussed before.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm honored again to be back with Old Ridge. And when I was looking through your board packet for district goals for 2016-17, says develop a community input-driven strategic plan which engages community members to identify future district needs relating to our growing diverse population. And I have to say that since December, working with the Old Ridge School District and community, you have definitely been fulfilling that goal for this school year. I want to start out with the presentation this evening, and I want to publicly thank one of your school board members, Kelly Ellis Foster, for taking all the written information and all the data and putting it into such an absolutely fabulous PowerPoint. So I'd like to, if you give her a round of applause. Not only has taken the written word, but is very pleasant for the eye to see the information that we've gathered since December. So as we start out, we look at Mission 2022. So this is a 5-year plan, and like I said earlier, when you look at your district goal this year, it definitely involved the entire community with the school district developing this strategic plan. Tonight I'm giving you the draft presentation. This is an informational item for the school board, and then next week it'll be on the agenda for the voting by the board. So I apologize for my voice. I can't tell if it's a cold or allergies. But could I have someone, maybe one of the board members, read the mission statement for us?
It's on the handout
Jill?
as well if you don't care.
Recognizing that each person has an inherent
Thank you. So that's the mission of the district, and as we began the process of strategic planning, we reflected on that mission. We had large groups, small groups, we had the board, we had the administrative instructional leadership team, all involved looking at this mission as we develop the strategic plan going forward for the next 5 years. So on this next slide about the strategic plan, we were looking at various strategies, we were looking at action steps, those big bucket areas, the goals, and the activities that combined together make a strategic plan. And so in the second part of the paragraph here, we not only did surveys to the community, but we had comments from the community. We did a school board reflection session. We did large group reflection sessions. We had a smaller group that really reflected and unpacked the data that we collected. And then we also worked with the instructional leadership team. So it was from December until just last week that we took all this information and condensed it into 4 big areas of goals going forward. So our first focus area that we're looking at is excellence in education. And so that's the big bucket area, that's the focus area, that's the goal area. And under excellence in education, we have 3 major strategies that we like to work on in the next 5 years. That's looking at innovative programs, looking at shared best practices, and looking at trade and life skills. So this is the work of the community. I served as the external facilitator, but I worked with large, small groups and the teams here in the district. So when we look at innovative programs, we want to develop innovative programs that leverage technology, focusing on students at all learning levels and capabilities. Through expanded partnerships, develop programs with an emphasis on STEM and STEAM, challenge programs, adult education, and intervention with innovation in the delivery approach. The second strategy under excellence in education is looking at shared best practices, and that's creating academic success through expanding our professional development opportunities across the district, create mechanisms to share best practices that have proven success, and then leverage multimedia efforts to share with the staff, with the Board of Education, with parents and the community at large. And then the third big strategy area under excellence in education is to look at those trade and life skills to prepare students for success once they leave the Old Bridge School public schools, expand internships and in-house learning opportunities, similar to the ShopRite one that you have here, the Kids at College program, investigate alternative scheduling solutions at the GNC and the OBHS to allow more time for concentrations in trade and life skills curriculum. So this is what floated to the top when we worked with the community, when we worked in our groups, and these were the 3 strategy areas under excellence in education: innovative programs, share best practices, and trade and life skills. The second focus area that rose to the top was facility improvement and expansion. And we have 3 strategy areas that coincide with that focus area: facility support of academics, safety and security, and new building assessment. So under that facility support of academics, that's facilities as it supports instruction. So to continue to invest in and keep current technology infrastructure to support the educational needs of students. Explore funding and construction of space for specialized student learning, such as the arts and athletics. Then under safety and security, conduct a comprehensive review of security systems. Develop a district-wide plan of standard best practices for security. Continue the partnership with the police department in developing a safe and secure environment, and assess current safety personnel coverage and make recommendations for improvement. Then the third strategy under this focus area is new building assessment, and to conduct an assessment of current facilities and create a plan to meet the demands of new development in the township and the impact of anticipated population growth, including the review of building life expectancy and infrastructure improvements in our aging buildings. So again, these three strategies focus on that focus area of facility improvement and expansion. The third area that floated to the top as we worked in our groups since December was the whole area of fiscal resilience. And we have two strategy areas there: effective management of education costs and alternative sources of funding. So under that effective management of educational costs, it developed standards methods to measure educational and fiscal impact of the instructional programs at the high school. Create tutorial on the development of the district budget, including implications and utilization of funding, and improve the communication and collaboration regarding funding across the district staff. And then the second strategy area was alternative sources of funding. Create a comprehensive plan to pursue and obtain alternative funding. Identify opportunities that support long and short-term goals, including one-time and ongoing sources of funds. So those two strategies fulfill the goal area of fiscal resilience. Then our fourth focus area that floated to the top is that whole area of the whole child. And so under the whole child, we have three strategy areas: parent education, substance abuse education, and social media. So under parent education, expand parent learning opportunities and workshops beyond parent university, utilizing multiple delivery methods, including but not limited to online tutorials, etc. Then under substance abuse education, partner with municipal alliance and healthcare professionals to provide resources and training for all district stakeholders in the area of substance abuse and mental health education. And then the third strategy was social media, and develop a comprehensive approach to provide ongoing and topical education to students, staff, and parents. Topics will be current, age appropriate, and use multiple delivery methods. So there are the four big goal areas. They are the strategies underneath it. From that point, what we did, and I'm not going to read all the steps because you have that in your package, but I think it's important that you understand that we have the goal area, we have the strategy, and now we have action steps. And the action steps are very important because they're the measurable objectives. This is the roadmap, this is the blueprint for the next 5 years. And in order to fulfill those strategies, which will then fulfill the goal, we must have action. We just can't say, oh, well, we want to have innovative new programs because we want excellence in education. Well, how are we going to do that? And then you can see 11 action steps that correspond with having innovative new programs. The same with shared best practices and trade and life skills. So I'm gonna go on to the next one, facility improvement and expansion. Again, we have the 3 strategies, and then under that are the action steps that we need to fulfill in order to fulfill that strategy and fulfill that goal. Under fiscal resilience, we have our 2 strategies with action steps to be fulfilled during the next 5 years, and then the whole child with 3 strategies and action steps. So these action steps now, the next part of the process will be to have people, committees, different people responsible for fulfilling these action steps, which would fulfill the strategy, God bless you, which would fulfill the goal. So the action steps can't just stand alone. They have to be assigned, there has to be priorities, they have to be start dates, there have to be end dates, and this all fulfills the measurable objectives as part of the process. So, does anyone have any questions? And I apologize for my voice.
So what would happen after this process, when the board adopts the strategic plan on next Tuesday? Then my team would get together and assign targets for those action steps. So that who would be the person in charge of that action step and the target date to have it accomplished by. So there's clearly a line of who would be responsible for it, and then a time frame in which we can see accomplishments and then measure them. And naturally, we wouldn't start that process until the board adopts it, because it's write up, who would be in charge of it, and then when the target date the board's adopted, it would be completed.
Any questions for Joanne?
I have to say, as your external facilitator, that the energy and the passion that your stakeholders put into this process, I was extremely, really impressed, not only with the energy and the passion from your board, but from the community members. It was really fulfilling as an external facilitator to see the energy and passion that you have for the students here in your school district. And I immensely enjoyed working with each and every one of you.
Well, on behalf of the community, and I hope everybody knows, thank you for guiding us in this almost 6-month journey. There was a lot, probably hundreds of ideas and comments, and Joanne whittled it down to what you see in front of you. Great job, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we just had a conversation about this to the board also. Mr. Merrill, will there be any correspondence? Nobody sent us a letter, nobody. Committees, I don't know if there was any committee meetings. Traditionally, I think we'll probably pass next month or next week. It'll be a long meeting unless anybody has any urgent. Facilities use, there is a packet, the papers in your packet tonight. Hearing of residents, agenda items only. Anybody? Okay. Policy, we have the second reading.
Yeah, we wanted to schedule a policy meeting. I know that there's been discussion with Mr. Sim and other members of the community. We talked about revisiting the entrance age policy, to see if any changes were supported, and if so, what they would look like.
I've asked Mr. Singh in his absence, I don't want to speak for him, but I did ask him to work on the second policy meeting in his absence, maybe we can do it now.
We can throw dates out since we're also thinking the same day. May 31st or June 7th. Those dates work for the policy committee members. Mr. Brown, Mr. Sedin.
studies, right? Either of those days, good or bad?
31st is actually the day event I have, so the night, evening. 31st.
Would you, Mike, can you let us sing out of the video in his absence? Please. We'll do that at 7. Earlier?
7 o'clock.
May 31st, 7. Thank you. Nice one. Curriculum, personal development. Nothing in number 1, so I guess, or a motion for number 1 and number 2.
That's number 2 this time.
Yes, it's number 2. Need a motion to move curriculum, professional development, number 2, item number 2, please. Second. Any discussion on item number 2?
Andriani?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Dinah?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay. Items 3 through 5. Anybody, anything? I see some blanks.
Number 5, you'll have names on there.
Anybody else? Athletics. Yeah, anybody, anything? Next Friday, the 19th, 6 o'clock, followed by movie night at 7. Everybody will be here. Okay, moving on to finance. Item 1 in the motion, please.
I will make a motion to move finance, item 1, Mr. President.
Read the second.
Discussion? Nancy, Joanne, Mr. Knapp?
Callie?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Lionel?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Andriani? Freeman?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
And finance items 2 through 12, any else, sorry, through 16.
I just have a question.
Kelly?
You want to say?
Number 13. Item
And
number
number
13.
9.
Number 9 is on there every year,
Oh, okay.
while we're, the funding from the federal grant is pending.
Okay.
The purpose of it is because the federal grant, we're trying to establish a federal grant that we couldn't afford these positions. So if we do them without knowing what our grant money is, it established the federal government that we can afford it, and therefore.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, 13. As you recall, 4 to 5 years ago, we entered into a lease agreement for the lease purchase agreement for the purchase of the iPads. We're coming to the end of that period, and it's time to provide additional technology to the district. And since we have already budgeted an amount consistent with the lease payments in the budget, we're able to finance $2.6 million to cover the cost of the security camera upgrade for the high school and GNC, and $1.6 million additional technology for the district. Next year, our computers the iPads that we're using will be obsolete in terms of park testing, and we need to refresh that, and this is principally the way that.
So, so the iPads that we currently have, which are so-called obsolete, do we return them?
Obsolete for what?
Obsolete for
We
what?
own,
Now, do we return those? Are they?
we own,
We own those, so we're gonna retain those iPads and utilize utilize them for other purposes, repurpose them for different programs, different
Yes.
reasons?
Roseanne?
Yes.
Probably answered
Right,
that.
and for $1.6 million that you're asking for in this finance package, did we determine what type of technology you're gonna utilize it for, what type of handheld, whether it's gonna be additional iPads, or we haven't gotten that far yet, just asking for the money now, and then we can decide.
We're just asking for the authorization to go out to bid for the financing. And that has to be done. Whatever technology is that we need for the park testing has to be in hand by October or November of this year. So that decision will be made once this resolution is passed, authorizing us to go out to financing.
So I would assume that will go through the technology committee.
That is correct. The technology committee is already working on that, looking at HP streams and HP.
Fair enough. My question's answered. Thank you.
I was gonna say the same thing, being in many of the technology meetings, I know which direction we're heading in. How do you appropriate funds if you don't know which fund?
Yeah, exactly. We're financing. What will happen is when we do financing will be for technology equipment and security equipment. It can be very,
Name of device that you put in.
no, it can be very general, as long as it fits any actual.
And clarify, this is already in the budget, or this is outside?
This is budget neutral. Yeah. That's the key term. It's budget neutral, it's going forward for the next 5 years.
Okay, anything else? Items through 16? Non-certificated personnel office. Anybody?
Two secretaries from business school and one is for our payroll department. These are replacing. We have a retirement and replacement, both are retirement.
Okay, nothing on the non-certificated personnel operations, sorry. Non-certificated personnel other, 1 through 13. Any questions or discussion? Okay, certificated personnel, 1 through 32, thank you. Wow. Items 1 through 32 up to page 21. Go to the department.
This is the big one. Number 3, there are blanks, but I'm very happy to say that right now, with the exception of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this agenda, they're all already filled in, and the remaining 5, we are just pending confirmation from the candidates. So I am very hopeful that we will have all of the candidates filled in by Friday.
And number 5 is 4 blanks, I assume, same thing?
Number 5. That probably, we need to fill that one. We won't be adding anyone.
And 14?
It's possible you could add there, but if not, we'll pull that off.
Anybody else, anything? Who's not contacted me?
It's been a great process. I thank Dr. Oprah and the team. Past week or so, I sat in about 30 interviews. What we've done differently now that hasn't been done in the past is, it really came from just an uncomfortable feeling of being at a new teacher orientation or being out of school and having someone who's working in the district on a short time come up to us and thank us for hiring them. I didn't know who they were. And, because the process always was that for teachers, there would be a committee outside of the central administration who would handle it, and we would take the recommendation to hire them based upon looking at the recommendation for employment. And we decided that we're not too big of a district, that we still shouldn't know each the person that's being recommended and starting a new position and career with us. So any final position for any permanent position, now at least goes through an interview with us, so we get to know them, put a face to the name, and we take some ownership in ensuring their success.
And I can honestly say that we've interviewed hundreds of candidates in the last few weeks, the committees. The elementary alone, we had, I think it was 149 applicants, but we sent a team to TCNJ, we had some go to Monmouth, so we did interviews there, we did phone interviews, we did in-person interviews, and then the second round interviews. So they went through a process, and we have some excellent candidates that are on this list.
Pretty good. I think one of the things I want to add is that we're in a position which is important to know as the board, that it's kind of like a buyer's market, where we have a lot of candidates with a lot of offers right now. There may be a lot of retirements going on in the districts as well. So more than 3 times in the past 2 days, we've had someone say, well, thank you, but I just want to field a few more offers to see what's best for me, which is kind of rare the past few years when we're doing interviews with people just jumping at the opportunity for employment. So we have a lot of very highly qualified people getting a lot of highly qualified offers.
But they do want to come to us. They are hearing great things about it. That's on our side. And actually, we had several people today that came in and said, oh, I'm looking at the newspapers that were out there and learning a little bit about what's going on, and so we're impressed with what's out there. It's been a good process.
And non-certificated personnel transportation, two items, any comments? Supplies, equipment, services, items 1 through 25.
Go 21. Go to 21. Now, did you review them last year in the same way, just extending a new contract then?
Yeah, we have up to
3 years?
5.
5 years, so we
5 years.
continue to renew without putting it out to bid.
Yes, that's correct. And in this particular year, the cost of living adjustment was 3%.
Okay.
Could have increased it, but I asked them to reconsider, and they reduced it to 2.25%.
And based
It
upon,
was a shock. By the way, it was a shock because
that's a big savings.
no, but the prior quarter, cost of living increase was only 1.5%. This is published by the state of New Jersey, Labor.
Right.
And the second quarter was 3%.
Gotcha. And based upon, previous committee meetings, buildings and grounds, Temco is doing a fairly good job according to Kevin and Frank, so I'm fine.
I have a question. The professional services, there's no maximum, I guess, on any of that. So, but number 19, there's a price list here for what the rejections are. But I'm not quite sure. Is this for students? Is this for staff? Is this for staff?
Staff, and we incur very little costs. This is just a stopgap versus we provide shots for staff members who request. Really, we're obligated to provide it to certain people and do certain things, but most people don't take advantage of it.
And the people who do not take advantage of it, they sign a declination saying that they don't want the shops. I think that is OSHA standard
That's
policy.
part of our process.
It is,
online,
okay.
I think.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Item number 25, number 26. We went out to bid for the security system upgrade and merge with all other security camera systems throughout the district. And we awarded that to CSP at $819,000. That is part of the $2.6 million lease financing that we talked about in the other
Just for the
And what about the services, the LLC services?
The NRC no longer exists.
Right, so where are they?
question, since CM3 Building Solutions, we accepted a bid of $820,000, and we're asking for $2.6 million, there's a $200,000 difference. How much we're asking?
No,
1.6 was going towards new
Right,
technology.
you replied it was 1 million towards the county.
And 1 million goes to $200,000.
I said 800,000.
If its total was 2.6, take away 1.6, that was a number.
It's 2.6, $800,000 for security cameras, the difference is for the technology. I misspoke, I thought I said it correctly.
Okay, so it's 1.8 for technology.
Yes.
Gets better every day.
I suffer from the same affliction as Joanne.
It's late.
Okay, anything else on supplies, equipment, services? Moving on to transportation, just one through 6. 6 is big. Anything? Item 1 through 6? Moving on, miscellaneous. Yeah, item number 1, I was looking at the calendar last week and I noticed that the June agenda meeting falls on the same day as middle school graduations. Colleagues, I did send out an email giving alternate dates. Unfortunately, I only heard back from Isabella Sforza, that's Mrs. Callie. I had suggested the 15th as an alternate date, and Mrs. Callie did not make it that night. Nobody else said yes or no, and I'm thinking of.
We were about to suggest registration to 22nd. That week of the 15th, then the 21st, but the 20th is high school graduation. Cannot do 22nd.
No.
Well, it seemed like the probable dates would have been the 12th, the 14th, or 15th. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but I said, I can send an email.
Monday is cool.
I don't know, next week sometime.
20th is graduation, right?
Yeah, 20th is,
And that night, the project graduation.
right, that was the original regular meeting,
I don't
which we changed. That we changed to the 27th, now we need to change the agenda because of the.
I don't have a problem with 21st.
I'm good for the 21st.
So for the agenda, can I say the 21st? Is that good? Donna? 21st?
And when is the?
Jeff, will you school?
The day after graduation, right?
That would be the agenda session.
The agenda was the 19th.
For anybody attending project graduation, we'll have really strong coffee here.
Oh, I see. Oh, wait a second.
Are we good for the 21st, everybody? Okay, so the new agenda meeting will be the 21st. And the regular meeting has already been changed to the 27th.
I need to know what board member will be speaking at Salt graduation, Sandra graduation. We can have it as soon as possible.
If everybody heard, you know, we're going to need speakers as we usually do with middle schools. I'll send out some kind of correspondence by tomorrow, either text or email. If anybody would like to, Joe, I think you've seen them, I know you haven't remembered it. I just don't want to be here, I'm not telling you where you sit. Usually this year's probably.
It's always been that way.
I would say something.
I'll be in contact as far as the middle school graduation.
Middle school?
That's right now,
Okay, folks, moving on.
Mr. President,
Will.
me and Ms. Ellis wants to have daughters who are graduating in the she class this year.
Did not forget.
No, just
I know.
reminding you, sir.
I know. Don't worry.
Like 18 years old.
Rich just said that's a rule.
Who's gonna be crying more? I think Kelly probably.
Is she already crying?
Graduation.
I said, who's more? I cried like a baby when my daughter got engaged.
Okay, so like progress from being introverted to someone who is expanding and becoming a very
That's the precedent, that said that everybody has to graduate.
Classic groove.
Okay, anyway, we're off on a tangent now. Miscellaneous, anything else, items 2 through 5?
On the next page,
Okay, board secretary. Okay, moving on, hearing of residents on any school district issue? Anybody? Okay. Under, I guess, new business, Mr. Citadino is working diligently on trying to find out how accurate this is, but if everybody remembers, next Friday is the naming of the field house for Coach Kabauer. There might be a little discrepancy with that. Apparently, some of us were notified that possibly years ago, the field house might have already been named for somebody. Nobody here knows because it's a long time ago.
I don't believe that to be true, but there's someone came forward, I don't know, it was on Facebook or?
No, somebody emailed some of us.
That it was named,
Yeah, it was
named for the first person who died in the Vietnam War, what, it was a graduate of Madison Central. But that person is already contacted, yes?
Wouldn't have been Madison Central, it would have been Madison Township.
That's quite possible.
That's what I'm saying, like the school, Sandberg goes back, it was Madison Township, that
Madison
was.
Township. The,
years
I was
ago.
contacted by the person who represents a family member when there was a tree that used to be in front of Sandberg, or Madison Central, Madison Township School, that was pulled out during a tornado that went through there a few years back. The guy happened to, he drove there every year with his family to see the tree, and his tree wasn't there, so he called me. I told him, since we're working on a project, and we are, and it just happened to come up recently, that the tree is going to be donated and replaced, and the Boy Scouts are cleaning all the pavers that were around it, and repositioning the pavers in front of where the marquee is in the front of Sandberg, because that new where the location was, it's going to be where the generator is, the emergency generator is going to be. So I've had multiple conversations with the family of that person, and not once have they ever told me that the field house was named after him. They only said the tree.
Unfortunately, Mr. Reed, I don't mean this offensively, but you've been in the district a long time. Do you have any recollection?
And I would think the name would be on the building.
There's no plaque, there's no designation, there's nothing there.
I will reach out to that person and see, if they're,
Is there a newspaper article?
if
Is
their,
there
if their relative was,
Do
who
we
they're
have
claiming
dates?
to be the first person
I mean, it
to
could have
die,
literally
they
been
would
40
maybe know
something
the other
years
ones
ago.
too.
Well, probably mid-60s to early 70s to be.
I'm saying it could have been back then. We don't know. Some of us were approached with an email, and it was a nondescript name on the email, so not even anybody to contact back and say, what are you talking about?
But they just said, I thought, I recall, right? That didn't say for fact.
I don't remember the words exactly. I don't have it in front of me. And only a couple of the board members were contacted on it. I don't know why they chose some and not the others.
I'll reach out to Mr. Gregory as well. Mr. Gregory might remember, I don't remember, I don't think he was the athletic director that long.
I only go back to him. I don't know who was before him.
Says I do believe, says please check past records, I do believe the field house was previously named.
Obviously, we want to, do the right thing, but there's not really a lot of information there either.
We have a variety of states that belong to schools here in the 60s and the 70s that are still working in this But there are others who are family, who are here, just like you. So, I mean, we can't reach out to find somebody.
Yeah, she may know, she is there.
No, her dad was superintendent,
Right.
so they would know.
Well, anybody knows anything, check resources, get back to us, and, I mean, there's no indication that that's true.
We have
It's
some
not
old
plaque there,
yearbooks.
with his name on it.
Well, even the wording,
We have some old yearbooks
I believe doesn't mean
in the
it's.
library.
Yeah.
Madison Township, because we used it for background information when we had to do that project, Doctor.
It's a novice.
It's from a nondescript name on AOL.
No signature on the email.
Signed by OVH West.
Lori said we have, old yearbooks that might have it.
At the high school, I could go look tomorrow and see how far back they go for you.
Can you please, because,
I will.
mean,
Absolutely.
this is a very awkward situation.
I'll see, they have some Madison Township ones, because we used it for research for when we were putting out a magazine about 15 years ago.
I mean, it could literally be back to 1960 something,
I don't know how far back they go, but there are some, I think there's some Madison Township ones, so I'll look.
As long as we make an effort and do the due diligence, and we prove that there's nothing there, then we continue with moving forward, because we did our due diligence to substantiate or to, disqualify that information.
It's very awkward, I guess, is the word. But because we could have- I did not.
Could we respond? Could you
Just please forward, I'll reply to the person.
just state that you have any evidence of,
The name?
whether there's newspaper article or something
Yeah,
you
it's
have?
such a very broad, I mean, the name is nondescript, there's no signature, it's nothing
If
definitive.
they don't respond, then.
We just say the name of the individual we're talking about, too, right?
Right.
Yeah, it didn't say that.
Right, yeah, it was very, very vague. Anybody else, anything, old business, new business?
Well, we should just give a shout out. I think today is actual Teacher Appreciation Day.
Yes,
Someone
it
did
is.
that.
Yes, so big thanks to all of our teachers and our staff. They get to have Saturdays available.
I just also have to add to that, anyone who didn't hear already, saw
Oh, yes.
was named a National School Character today, which means all 15 schools now.
Great job to everybody involved, and of course, happy National Teachers Day to everybody who has, we are. Anything else? Okay, I think we have a closed session.
You do. You go into executive session for matters of contract, personnel, and negotiations for discussion of
Thank you.
Take the day off tomorrow.
Oh, wow, thank you so much.
Is that on
Hard
record?
work.
Is that on record?
Yeah,
Get
get that in minutes?
That's him saying it on record.
There we go.
Disregard the last comment.
It's like water.